What's going on, everybody? Happy holidays. Welcome back to another Seftimor live book review, vlog, video, whatever you want to call it. Today, I'm reviewing the book The Mask of Masculinity by Lewis Howes. On a morning before work, I was doing what I usually do, flipping through, checking social media, flipping through my Instagram stories, and an ad popped up from this guy named Lewis Howes. And Lewis Howes was saying that he could help me get more followers or more likes on my Instagram account. We all know in this personal branding age that social media is a big deal. And social media, for us not having something behind us to push our content, it's all up to us. So the big ones, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that, are big tools for us to use to promote our content out there. So anything that I can use to get more followers or to get more eyes on my content is a plus for me. So I decided to sign up for his webinar. The webinar was really good. It showed me different tips and tricks and how to get people more engaged, different tools I can use that I really didn't know about. And overall, it was a really good webinar. It got me more interested to look deeper into who Lewis Howes was. As I dug deeper, I found that Lewis Howes was a former professional athlete who had written two books. One I'm reviewing for you today, The Mask of Masculinity, and The School of Greatness, which also has its own podcast. All the links will be in the description for all this different content. Both of his books were New York Times bestsellers, and The School of Greatness is a book that I will definitely check out in the future. But like I said, the book I'm here to review is the newest one. Came out in October, called The Mask of Masculinity. I'm always looking for ways to improve myself, and I really love the self-help genre. I just like finding different tactics or different tips just on how to be better, be a better person, and be happier, and things that I might not see in myself. These books really help that. The overall theme of The Mask of Masculinity is the masks we wear to protect ourselves, to protect our identities, and the fact that they could be hindering our lives. Masks such as the sexual mask, the alpha guy mask, the know-it-all mask. There's definitely one mask in here that you'll recognize for yourself. Now, that's not a bad thing, that's a good thing, because Lewis brings it to light, and he also gives us advice on how we could better that. Lewis goes through 9 masks in total. In today's world, we learn to hold in feelings and be stoic. Now, I'm a fan of stoicism. Ryan Holiday is one of my favorite authors. I read the Daily Stoic every single day, along with his emails, which I highly encourage you to sign up for. The key that Lewis is showing here is to drop and be more vulnerable in our day-to-day activities. When we drop these masks, we'll increase our own wellness in our life and have healthier and better relationships. With my last YouTube video, I reviewed Think and Go Hustle by Dylan Madden. What I loved about that book was personal stories. Lewis does the same thing here in giving personal stories from his own life into how he wore these masks and what he did to overcome them. The book also has tons of examples from other people. He's got a plethora of knowledge that he learned from interviewing people on his podcast. He lets us, the reader, know what mask they were wearing, what the problem was, and how they overcame that. I really love this because just as in a book like Tim Ferriss just came out, Tribe of Mentors, I read his previous one, Tools of Titans, you learn more from connecting with different people. And the cool thing about that is that you might not have a connection with someone in the book at one point in your life, but you could go back a few years later or a few months later and have a really deep connection with what they're saying. It just depends on what point of life you're in. That's what I love, that Lewis takes his time on podcasts, interviewing these people and asking the right questions to figure out how he could help us achieve removing these masks for good. Next, I want to go into the 2 biggest takeaways that I got from The Mask of Masculinity. By far the biggest takeaway that I got was listening. A lot of times in situations I voice my opinion, and deep down I want to be right. Lewis would call this the know-it-all mask. The Mask of Masculinity taught me that the only way to learn is to listen to people and actually listen. Ask the right question. Ask the questions that you want to hear and listen to those answers. Because just like the reason I'm reading this book is to find chinks in the armor that I could fix or things in my personality that I want to make better. The only way you could do that without self-help books is by listening to people truly in the present moment at all times. I don't need to voice every little thing that pops into my brain. When interacting with someone, The Mask of Masculinity taught me to listen to everything they say, not just the points that coincide with my own vision or my own thoughts. The second huge takeaway that I got from this was passive aggressiveness. We all deal with it. We all have those moments where we think that someone should know what we're feeling or what we're going through. And that's just not the case. What the Mask of Masculinity taught me was to not be passive aggressive and walk around and think that someone should know why I'm pissed off or that they wronged me. And then I just walk around thinking that they wronged me and I'm mad. And then they ask what's wrong and I do nothing. And just go about my day, ignoring these people until I feel that I want to address the problem at hand instead of addressing the problem directly. The book taught me to confront my issues head on, not in a shouting or an angry or pissed off manner, but in a relaxed and meaningful conversation. If people don't even know why they hurt me, then how can they react the correct way? A lot of these times I bet the people don't even have a clue that they offended or pissed me off. The only person that knows the exact thoughts that are going on in my head is me. My entire life I always assumed people knew exactly what was going on in my head. And you all know what happens when we assume, right? I found this funny because in my first takeaway I say that I'm always voicing my opinion. But I guess when people wrong me and don't see my opinion clearly, I get sheltered and draw back. That's something that the book taught me. Combining these two takeaways, the ultimate lesson that I've learned was to have these conversations with people. The book taught me to be more vulnerable with my relationships and have those hard conversations instead of being passive aggressive. And while having those conversations, truly listen, even if the side doesn't coincide with what you think. That's the only way we learn, and that's the way we have society. As of the time I wrote this blog post and now making this video, I implemented these into my life. I've had those difficult conversations that might have been sitting on the back burner for years, talking just like I'm talking to you now. The results have been mind-blowing. Even with people that my whole life I thought I couldn't have these conversations with, I have. They got emotional, but in a good way. Emotional in a loving way. Emotional in a caring way. The Mask of Masculinity really opened my eyes to some flaws I had, and it turned me right around. Another tidbit I want to say about the Mask of Masculinity is it's not just for us. It's not just for guys. The title has masculinity in it, but the book is also for women. At the end of each chapter, or mask, Lewis lays out advice for the women that might be experiencing their spouse or their significant other wearing one of these masks, and how to deal with it, and how to help them open up and ultimately drop that mask. Some of the book's best advice cater directly to women, and for that, it makes it a great book for not only men, but women as well. As 2017 comes to a close, and we go forth into 2018, I can say from all these books that I've read, which I've read a lot, both fiction and nonfiction, that Lewis Howes' The Mask of Masculinity is one of the best books of 2017. And Lewis is becoming one of the defining members in the self-help community. I can't wait to see where he goes next. I look forward to reading the School of Greatness book and listening to his podcast. And overall, I can't wait to see what he does next. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this book review of Lewis Howes' The Mask of Masculinity. If you enjoy this, please give us a like down below. Subscribe so you get all the updates. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these. As you know, I have my own blog at seftimorlive.com where these articles go up first and then I make a video for. So if you want to see that, all these links will be in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to pick up The Mask of Masculinity. I'll leave an affiliate link in the description as well. Until next time, talk to you guys later.